here.
Yep.
You say you just left the panel at Assembly?
Mm-hmm.
How was that?
Oh, we're starting too now.
Yeah, we started.
Okay, cool. I didn't really get to see anything with the panel, but I got to be part of like the social little section of it, which was actually really cool. Like, I've actually saw a lot of people that I knew there, so I was actually kind of surprised. It was real chill, felt kind of like a house party kind of vibe.
Was it upstairs in the like rooftop floor?
No, it was actually downstairs in the lobby. So like they had some stuff upstairs, like a vendor table and the DJ, but everything was downstairs. So it was real like mixed in. Like,
Oh, in that room, like literally right when you walk in?
Literally when you walk in, yeah.
Yeah, I was at a panel at Assembly like almost like a month ago. Mm-hmm. The one that Gabe Niles was on. Mm-hmm. I forgot what that one was even about now. I think they were just talking about like local businesses. You said the one that you were was more focused towards tech.
That's what the plan was. Yeah, I don't know what happened in the actual panel, but I did go to that panel too. It was more like.
Oh, you were at that one too, where Gabe was speaking. Mm-hmm. Did you see me in there?
I don't know if I saw you. I came in like real at the end though,
Okay.
so I probably didn't actually see you there. But I don't remember what that was about either.
But I'm not gonna lie, they had some refreshments, and they had this one cracker. It looked like a regular cracker. I think it was a cracker. It might have been the cheese.
Cheese or a cracker?
It was either cheese or a cracker. They had a bunch of like hors d'oeuvres.
I just feel like we would know if it was the
I can't
cheese
remember now,
or the cracker.
but whatever
Okay.
it was, the shit was nasty. Like, it had a few different things. Like all of them were like good except for this one specific thing, and I was like, why did they put that up there? Maybe it's just my taste on it.
Do you like cheese?
I do like cheese.
Okay, so maybe it was the cracker. It might have been the cracker.
Also, I was telling you before the pod, I had some tech questions for you, kind of, even we're talking about tech. You are maybe the only person I know that posts on Substack.
Really? So you know about Substack too?
I kind of vaguely know about it. I wanted to
Okay.
ask what got you into it. What's the appeal of it for you? What do you use your stuff to Substack for and all that? Like,
Okay, so I follow this girl. Her name's Danya Taylor. I don't know if you're familiar with her.
from out here or?
Nah, she lives in LA, but she's from the DMV area. But I've never had to honestly explain who she is, so I hope I'm doing it justice. But like, she's a creative girl on social media. She's super fly, dope. She does like, I feel like she got her start in like that marketing space. I think that's what it is. It's something in that space of business, but she does a lot of like panels and like different speaking engagements where she's talking about like kind of like just the creative mind. So like creativity, but from like a neurological kind of space. So like she goes from that kind of angle, but I mean, it's not as like
Like what causes it? Like,
yeah, like,
your
or like,
body and shit?
yeah, like kind of like, I feel like kind of taking that, I feel like as creatives, we're all trying to like kind of get validity that we exist. We are people, like almost like we feel like people don't see us as a way of being. It's almost like, okay, you're that way, I don't get it, but okay. So like she's kind of getting into that space where creatives are identifying themselves from a space of like, okay, we operate this way because of X, Y, and Z, if that makes sense. I hope that makes sense.
that makes sense. Like, just kind of like the underlying characteristics or stuff that even makes you like become creative.
That and like what can help you be a better creative, like from that space as well. So like recently she just dropped this product and it's a brain bank.
Brain bank. What's that?
So it's a bank that literally looks like a brain. And the whole idea,
like a piggy bank.
yeah.
Okay.
But she has these like $2 bills that you're supposed to write on. And it's kind of like you put your ideas on it. So she kind of is speaking on that your ideas are like currency. So she wants you to get in the habit of like you have an idea, you write it down, you put it in your brain bank. What happens after that, I don't know. I'm assuming you would. I would assume you would open it at some point and maybe like pick an idea. I am actually curious of what do I do after I put it in the bank.
I would assume you like start working on making the idea a reality. It's like you just fill up this bank with just a bunch of ideas you never work on. So I
could see where
I want to start a
that's where I
business
was like,
and just
is it
put it in
gonna
there.
go
And it's like,
when do I check this piggy bank? Yeah. I don't know that part. And it could honestly be like explicitly written somewhere, the instructions. So I hope, I'm not saying her product ain't hitting on that question, but I am curious about what happens after that. But anyway, that's something that she put together. So I guess if that helps even give you an idea of like.
So she went to Substack and then you kind of discovered her Substack.
Honestly, that was the original question. So yeah, so she had a Substack at some point.
You're good.
She had a Substack at some point, and I think I went to look at her Substack, and then I started to see like more about the platform. I was like, that's really dope. And I've always wanted to get into like blogging. So once I kind of saw how she was using it, I was like, okay, so that's a platform where I can get off like that. So for me, like, I'm still kind of figuring out my footing. Like, so far I've used it for like, kind of like not diary entry, but like, I'm about to release a project. Here's a snippet. Or like, I want it to be a place that's like I guess a more intimate conversation of like behind the music, behind me as an artist, kind of like my thoughts or what am I working on or what's your feedback. Like I want it to be more of like a place to really like communicate, I guess, in that kind of way. Like I feel like Instagram is so visual, and then the music is you're getting a product of my expression, but you don't really know what I was feeling when I made that. And then you don't get to know unless I do like an interview like this, or I mean, I could probably do more, which is why I'm trying to
It seems like you just started now. I think you started posting on it in 2023, right?
No, wait, my Substack.
Yeah.
Yes.
I got that sense too. Just reading through your stuff, it's kind of just more like a more in depth explanation on why you're doing things and how you're doing things. Mm-hmm. I wrote some stuff down. A lot of my questions are actually from stuff I've seen on your Substack.
Really?
But on there, you said I think on the From Loco in Paradise post, you said I believe that a lot of people are escaping in ways that they may not realize. Mm-hmm. What do you mean by that?
I wish I remembered what I meant by that. That's deep. Okay. I feel like, I mean, I know I definitely escape. Okay, I remember now. So like, I escape probably by smoking weed or drinking or going out. Like there's different ways I like to kind of tap out of reality. So like, I feel like even being on Instagram or social media is a form of like escaping in a certain kind of way. So I feel like people usually they look at escaping as a bad thing, like, oh, like you're just out of touch and you're not living in the now and what's going on. But I feel like a lot of people do it. When you watch TV, you're escaping. Like you're no better than this person who choose to do it in this way.
Now with our phones, we're like literally escaping like
all day,
all day.
Exactly.
It's like, remember, like I'm 28, so I remember growing up and being bored, and I feel like kids probably don't even get bored nowadays because there's like literally like anytime you even feel like a little bit of boredom, you just distract yourself with whatever the fuck is on your feed.
And you know what? I feel like we're distracted, but like it still feels kind of boring. Like when you're like online and it feels boring though. You know what I mean?
Well, I would say that a lot of the content online this past maybe year has just been boring. It's just redundant
absolutely.
And just everybody's doing the same shit.
Exactly.
It's not really exciting to me right now.
No, it's not. It's not. And I feel like that's kind of where like even me being a person who wants to use the internet in the way that I'm using it, like I want to post things. Not that I do it for anyone to like enjoy. I mean, there's certain things that I do put together that I would like people to look at it and, enjoy it for that reason only. But if I'm trying to have a voice up here, like I just don't want it to be boring, I guess. I don't know. I don't want to do what everybody's doing in the sense of like, I'm just doing that because that's what you're supposed to do type shit.
You know what it really is? It's we're missing individuality.
Yeah.
That's what kind of makes everything seem kind of boring. It's just everybody's the same. It's like everybody's the same person doing the same content, even down to like you see a trend. It's like we can't ever just let one thing exist. One thing pops like a trend or even a sound. Everybody's using it, and it's just we're all just trying to conform to this thing that's like currently working. And it's like people are afraid to take risks and do new things.
I feel like it's the way they're getting inspired. Like, I feel like I get it. You see something, you're like, yo, that's dope. Like, I would like to do something like that. But, like, there's that challenge of, okay, like, how can we go deeper, though? Like, that was lit and it got you excited. But, like, what else can it make you think to do that could also be cool that's not that, though? You know? Kind of just like a different variation. Well, not like a different variation, but, like how ideas lead into other ideas. Like, that's just the starting point. Don't get stuck there though, you know.
I like that. Ideas lead to other ideas, and that's why that's one reason that I have kind of the opposite stance on like you know how people say don't tell people your ideas or like don't say them out loud. I'm kind of the opposite way. I say them out loud because in one hand I'm like talking myself into it, and then another hand it's like every time I say it I feel like it evolves a little bit. So the more I say it, I just like you can add stuff onto it.
Yeah, it becomes like an actual thing. Yeah. And next thing you know, you're actually like doing it. Like I don't know, like you said, the more you talk about it, it's like you got another person now just like, oh yeah, and you could also da-da-da-da-da. And then you're like, oh, but I could also, like I said, that same thing of like, we're here, but then we need to jump somewhere else. Like, don't just live in that, like, we're bouncing off of each other type of thing. And then it becomes this thing like, you really could do that though. And now you're actually doing it. Honestly, that recently just happened. I don't know if you've seen these Valentine's Day cards that I put out.
I have. I was actually about the pull-up challenge.
Yes.
Okay.
So that was an idea I literally had like 2 weeks ago. So I was just like, one, I wanted to make something, and like I wanted it to be for Valentine's Day. Like I remember last year I wish I did it and I didn't. So I was like, I want to do something this time. So I thought about the Valentine's Day cards, and I was like, okay, well, let me just make it like a whole thing and see, can I sell these cards? So it was kind of crazy where it's like, it was just an idea. And then I'm talking to my friend. It became like, after that conversation, now I'm literally like in steps of making it what it needs to be. So it's like me sharing that made it real, if that makes sense. And
then you even kind of went deeper on your Substack on it. Like you went into like dating and how dating is kind of like at an all-time low. I think I forgot what the stat was from, but it was like 47% of people in America are single. So it's like, you like broke it down even further.
So that made me feel like I was back in school again.
What?
Like I haven't, just writing like that. Like,
yeah.
Like I haven't written in that, I guess, like formal way. Honestly, like.
I think you're a good writer too.
Thank you. I actually wanted to be a writer at another point in my life. I probably will still want to be a writer, but like I wasn't in that phase where I cared to like act on that idea. Like I've always had things I've wanted to be or become or do, but it's kind of like, what do I feel like I want to do right now, if that makes sense. So,
okay, so were you thinking about just like dating and the state of dating and all this like that goes into that before you made the song and that led to the song, or was the song first and you kind of?
No. So like, it's crazy because like, it's like everything's connected. Like, okay, so with that song, honestly, talking about pull up, right?
Pull up, because you had it on your subsite. You were kind of breaking down. I don't have everything written down, but it was like different reasons why dating is affected right now, and like why it's kind of like not good for our society.
I don't remember if I said that.
You might. I might just be saying shit. I might be projecting at this point.
It's all good. I don't remember.
Yeah, I guess how do you feel about dating?
Okay, so like I feel like a lot of people complain about like everyone's not liking dating right now. Like it's pretty clear that everyone feels the same way. I mean, obviously the people who are having success are good, but like it's just kind of like, okay, so we all don't like it. Everybody wants to be in a relationship, but yet nobody can find a relationship. So like, what is the problem? Because clearly we all care about the problem. Like we might want to find a solution because obviously nobody wants to be single, it seems like, or we're all tired of like just like toxic relationships. Like everybody clearly sounds like they want something healthy and good. I think everybody wants love is what it sounds like to me.
Okay.
So like even with all the discourse, the complaining, at the end of the day, the root of it is you want love and you don't like the experiences you've been having, or you don't, whatever is the reason why you have a negative outlook on it. But if you don't have a negative outlook, it's kind of like, so what do I do to find someone to date now? Like everything's so digital. Like there's not a lot of places people are going to even meet people. When you go there, no one's even talking to each other. So it's kind of like, yeah. So it's like, okay, you go to parties, but then like, did you really talk to anybody? Like, so how are you really going to meet someone? We all want to meet somebody organically, you know? So it's like, okay, but where is this going to happen at? How is that going to happen? So I feel like even if there's opportunities, everybody's so scared. Like everybody's kind of.
What do you think they're scared of? For me, I'm looking at it like, I feel like everybody's too independent now. Nobody wants to rely, like nobody wants to depend on somebody.
Okay.
And when you're in a relationship, you kind of give a certain level of dependency on this person. Like you rely on them for certain things. I'm looking at my parents, for example. Like my parents came to America from Bosnia. And didn't know anybody here for real, didn't know the language. So at the end of the day, like they literally needed each other. They wouldn't be able to survive on their own. So I think that's kind of how it was all throughout time. It was just like much easier to survive with a partner. I think now it's like we're kind of in this independent lifestyle. Then of course you see people saying all the time, like you see 100 people way hotter than the person you like on your phone when you take out your phone. So it's like that's making you lust and think about other people. And then it's like you hear people talking about like back in the day, you didn't talk to your significant other all day.
Exactly.
You go to work and you didn't talk to them for 8-10 hours.
Exactly.
And you like miss each other and you want to talk again. Now it's like you're constantly in, you know what I mean? You see on Facebook what the fuck or whatever, what everybody's doing.
honestly, all these things are literally the problem. That's how I feel about it. Like, honestly, like that's like the overarching thing I feel like that really needs to be, I mean, they have to be attacked by like both sides, I feel like. Because at the same time, even if we were to be more open to, I mean, honestly, I don't know if that's like a skill set in a certain way. Like, I feel like everybody is very independent, which is like a good thing at the end of the day. Like, we all need to be able to like take care of ourselves in a certain kind of way. But like, relationships don't work in that kind of dynamic in a certain way. So it's like, what works for you being single doesn't work here. And like you said, everybody's used to this right here. So it's kind of like we all have to kind of find this balance, I feel like, for just where we've evolved as people and like how we connect and how we relate to each other. And like, you know, some people are into the traditional whatever. Some people say they are, but they're really not. Like, what even is it really? Like, what does a traditional relationship actually look like?
That's a good question. I don't know. For me, personally, the reason I think I've been kind of putting being in a serious relationship on the back burner is because I don't know if I have the energy to accomplish my goals and give somebody else right now at the time. I don't know if that would be selfish of me. Maybe I'm like overthinking it. Maybe I'm just like maybe I could figure it out if it came to that. I don't know. How do you look at are you in a relationship right now? How do you look at that with just being creative, chasing your dreams and stuff?
No, I'm single right now, but I will say like for a while I was in like a situationship, which I will say, even though that's like, it's like a diet relationship. So like I already don't have to have that much like responsibility to it. But like,
you notice it affected your creativity and stuff like that?
Yeah, but like good and bad. So like it wasn't bad. Like I feel like I made a lot of great music from being in that, which I'm grateful for it because it did a lot for me, but I could have honestly went without that as well, which I feel like is a whole other thing where even though it's not a relationship that's to a certain, I don't even know, setup that should or shouldn't, whatever way you feel about it, but it's a relationship at the end of the day. So like, even though I think I'm not in one because it's not
formal
official, or
like,
a full like all responsibility, it's like just dealing with another person in a certain way still takes a level of energy out of you. And I feel like I forgot your question.
Me too, honestly. So we're talking about relationships,
Okay.
Substack. What was that girl's name again that you said you discovered her, like she was talking about creativity and stuff?
Donnie A. Taylor.
Donnie A. Taylor? Okay. Maybe we can back up a little bit. Do you want to just tell us a little bit about coming up? You're from Chesapeake, right? Coming up, early life, just even getting into doing creative stuff.
Okay, so I was born here in Virginia, but I moved to Germany like when I was like 4. So I lived there for like 5 years and I came back. So
you remember Germany?
I do remember Germany, but I feel like that's also like such my early life. So like I say like 5 to like 9, I've lived in Germany. So like in a way, like I feel like the way it's affected me is very different in the way that I would look at it now if I moved somewhere and like I've been here at this point in my life. So like I feel like it's definitely made me who I am in a certain kind of way for those like developmental years of your life. But I feel like I was there so young that like here is where I really grew up in a certain kind of way.
Yeah. Were your parents in the military?
No. So like my mom was at some point, but she honestly just had a job. She had a job with the government and they had some kind of thing where you could move there to work there for a period of time. So that was just something she chose to do. So
you get back from Germany at 9 or 10.
Yeah. Okay, so then you asked me, how did I get into music?
What was your life like at 9 when you came back? What else?
Okay, at 9.
Continue the story.
I feel like I'm so smacked. Okay.
No, you're good. But you got some. Yeah. That's that Canada Wealth, man. Shout out to Canada Wealth.
I do this all the time too. Like I be forgetting what I'm talking about when I'm talking. But okay.
Now I was asking like early life coming up and
okay, so
getting
like
into
I'm 9.
Music and stuff.
Moving back here, like I would say that's definitely an adjustment. At that time, my life just felt like it was a lot of different places. So I moved around a lot before we really like settled somewhere. But it was here in Chesapeake. Went to Crestwood. Lived a regular kid life for the most part.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm trying to remember what we're talking about.
Take your time. You're good. Were you not like when you start creating?
Oh, honestly, I've been creating my whole life. Okay, when I think about even before moving back here, so like as long as I can remember, I've always done something creative, like whether it's like drawing or even like just like playing around. Like I had a video camera, so when I found our video camera, that was it. Like I'm recording myself doing everything. So like dancing, singing. I would make like different like skits. So like I would do like a fake newscast thing with my friends, or like I would interview like my Barbies. Like I was very already into trying to make it something that was like a production in some kind of way.
Do you still have these videos? Like you interviewing the Barbies and stuff?
Yes, I do still have these.
That's hilarious.
Yes. All I could think is, wow, like you've always been like this. Like you're so you.
I feel the same way. I like literally what I'm doing now. I'm 28, so I've been doing this pretty much the same shit since I was like 13. Like really? I was a magician in 6th grade. So
really?
my first ever YouTube video is probably still up on YouTube somewhere. It was like I made my little brother disappear, and I uploaded that to YouTube probably in like, what was that? That had to be like 2006, 2007. Then I'm doing skits with my friends, same shit. Like I'm making music. So now it's like it's just funny to look back and see kind of like something was always like pulling you towards this.
Yeah.
And it's like as you get closer to wherever the fuck you're going, it like just makes more and more sense.
Honestly, you saying it like that really just like changed my whole life right there.
Really?
Like it's so it's so simple, but like something about you saying it made me really think like, yeah, like whole time everything I've been doing is everything I'm doing now. It's just at a different magnitude, obviously, but like I didn't really even realize, like, I don't know, I've always been on this journey in a certain kind of way. This shit gets deep then. I've been doing this for a minute. But anyways, how I got into like music for real, I feel like at some point in my life, I kind of like wasn't creating as much, like probably in middle school. Like I was doing sports, cheerleading, stuff like that. So I've always done something creative, like drawing at some period in time, but like there was a fall off of where I wasn't really making anything until like probably high school. I started with modeling. That was something I was really like trying to do at some point. And that kind of just happened from me just wanting to like take pictures. My friends have brands, stuff like that.
Did you have any success in modeling, or were you working with any companies?
Yeah,
or
like
anything?
I feel like, okay, so I never went, when it got to the point where it's like, do you want to take this serious? I never went there with it. So like I've definitely made it to where I got to walk in New York Fashion Week at some point. It was for like these small business owners fashion show, but like even to making it there, I look at that as, you know, I could check my box and say, I modeled when I modeled, you know, and I did like a modeling troupe at some point. So like I've done enough to say I did it, but I wasn't like seriously pursuing it, if that makes sense.
What's a modeling troupe?
Okay, so I don't even know.
Gang of fucking models just beating somebody up. It's a whole troupe.
Honestly, so they model and we dance. So it's like we wear these like boots. They're like these heel boots. They're honestly like stripper shoes, but they're like these specific boots for dancing. And we put together like choreography and we model, and you compete off of that. So it's like, I almost want to say it reminds me of like...
You Got Served? Is it a dance battle? Like,
no.
Oh, my bad. My bad.
No. No, it is not. It is not like that. It's more of like, I would say more like performance. Like, okay, you know, maybe judged and then who had the best on that. But like, I never actually competed, so I don't actually know what happened when it went down. But I used to go to like the practices and the model like fashion shows, but I've never actually competed in it. So I don't know how it actually went down. But either way, I was always involved in some kind of community or organization of like modeling in some sense, where I'm always shooting with somebody. I was trying to go somewhere with it, but didn't know what I was doing. And it's like, once you realize, okay, what are you really trying to do with this? I decided against it when I just thought about, I don't know, I didn't want the lifestyle of it in some way. So then I was like, okay, I'm gonna try photography. So then I got into that. That kind of happened by accident too. I liked photography, but I didn't want to just become like a photographer. So then I feel like at that point, then I moved on to something else. Not really like I'm trying to find what I want to be. It's just I pick something up. Yeah. And when I'm done with it, or I got to a certain point where it's like, okay, what do you really want to do?
I used to be like that too, not to cut you off, but like I've done a bunch of different things in my life, and it's like, okay, like started maybe like landed on music, right? And then I'm thinking that I'm meant to do that, right? because it's this feeling that's driving me towards that. But then as I do different things, I realize that I just like it's just the passion and that feeling that kind of applies to like all like different things. So you can kind of express that creativity or whatever that passion through like different mediums. It doesn't have to be just like one thing.
Exactly.
So you're dabbling in the modeling, photography. How'd you get into the music?
Okay, so I feel like at some point this was back when I was still in modeling, honestly. So photography and modeling kind of happened at the same time. But I was on a shoot and the photographer that I was with just happened to be someone who was in music, and they were just talking about like this music video they were trying to shoot and if I wanted to come and if I had any friends or anything. Sorry. So from there, that was just something that we probably connected with after that shoot. And they never hit me up about it. But from just that conversation of talking with them about what they did in music, it kind of sparked just the curiosity in me in some way. So like one day I had just started playing with like YouTube type beat type stuff and just making songs. And so I would send them to him just to see what he would think. But that would be on like a whim, like if I just felt like creating. So I still wasn't really, I feel like that's the moment the seed was dropped. And then like from here, this is me just kind of like finding my way into it. But one day I wrote this song, which I actually wrote this song because I was supposed to kick it with this guy one day. And we had made the plan to link up. Like I was going to the ABC store. Like I'm on my way. Like I'm picking up things. I'm making rounds. Like, and then he basically like canceled last minute, right? So that had just kind of blew me on just like, I just feel like I just put a lot of effort here for you to, you know, and for no reason realistically, well, at least to my standards at that time, what I thought was acceptable, but I could have been tripping, honestly. But I was like 21 at the time. And so I was mad. Point is, I was mad and I went home and like the next day, like I was just thinking about it, how I was just irritated with him. Like I didn't like whatever. It just brought up feelings of like when guys just be doing stuff that be irritating me, right? So I had just thought about like people always say like when they feel some type of way, they make a song and that's like the feeling or that gives you something to write about. So I was like, let me try making a song. So I found this beat and I just wrote something and I recorded it and sent it to that friend that I had. That
what are you recording it on your phone or you have?
Yeah, like I think I did like voice memo and I got like the beat on my laptop type thing. Like it was real demo type style. And I had sent it to him just to see what he had thought about it. And he was like, oh yeah, like this is fire. Like you should come through and actually record it. So like I'm just down because like I've never recorded anything or been in a studio type setup to hear myself actually like on a song. So I went to record it and like actually hearing my voice like mixed and like on something, it sounded good and like it was a full song. Like I was like, wow, like this was like, I really like this, right? So I'm really excited. I'm hyped. Like, oh, I'm going to drop this. I'm going to just put it on Instagram. I can't wait to share this, right? And he was just like, okay, and then what? And I'm like, what you mean? Like, I don't know. Like, I'm going to let people see what they think about it, right? So he was just like, okay, but like, what do you like? And then you're just like not going to post. Like, are you going to do more music or you're just like, that's just it for you?
A one-off thing.
Yeah. So like, I never even thought about it like that. It was just kind of like, this was cool right now. I'm going to just post it. That was kind of my mindset with art.
You still weren't even thinking like, I'm going to keep making music. You're just like,
yeah, because I'm like real not committed to any of these things until like I know, like, I don't know, I like this, like that. So that really made me think about it. Like, okay, like, what do you mean by that? Like, I've never even asked myself something like that.
You're like, you need a 5-year marketing plan. You got to get a
yeah, or just like, even just like who I want to be, like, or where I want to take this. Like, I just be doing it because I like it. So I had thought about it and I was like, you know, I do kind of not just want to just put it out there and then don't do nothing else. So I looked at it like, well, I'll just make some more songs so that there's at least more of what I just put out. So I was like, I'm going to put together EP. Still just thinking like, I'm just going to put something out. But if I'm going to put something out, let me really put something together that if I'm going to do all that, if I'm going to want to make videos, because I was excited to get into like, okay, I'm going to do this kind of video and I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. So it's like, if I'm going to put all this effort into it, we could even make something more like of a project to do it also, because I'm not thinking I'm going to keep doing this. So it's like, if I'm going to do it, let me do it, right? So I put together this whole 5 EP.
But did you drop that first song initially? Did you,
No, so I didn't.
So you didn't put nothing out.
I didn't put nothing out.
Okay.
So he was like, so I was like, okay, at this point, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna just put out a project, right? So I could definitely see how people were like not expecting that. Like I was not doing anything with music. I feel like a lot of people who knew me didn't even know I could sing or that I was interested in some way. So for me to like announce that I'm putting out a project, like a music project, I feel like it just got a lot of attention from just my friends and like whoever follows me at that time, because it's like, okay, what are you doing? And I didn't even picture this from you. So to come out and then have like a whole like, I mean, I'm at a much more like novice baby level of marketing at that point, but like I still approach it the same way I do now, as far as like, you know, I like to have the video, the photo shoots, what I know to how to roll something out, basically. So it was this whole like rollout situation. So people were really excited about it. And I think getting the feedback and just like, it was fun putting together a project and like really seeing it be this like experience in a certain kind of way.
That's crazy. So your first ever release as an artist was a project.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if anybody else, like nobody really does that.
Yeah.
That's different.
Yeah.
How did people react to that project? You said the initial response was like great.
Mm-hmm.
Was it continued support? Like what was kind of moving from there? And also what was that project called?
It was called Are You Okay?
Okay.
So, yeah, people responded to it good. I feel like it continued after that. Like honestly, like everyone who's probably like a fan of me now has been a fan from that. Well, I won't say everyone, but like it's definitely been like we've been locked in since like that moment. So anything that I would put out after that, like I feel like it was always like a gradual build. Like I feel like that project really set a tone in a certain kind of way that if you like this, you were kind of locked in a certain kind of way with me.
I also like how you started after like 21. Because I think we think of like music, especially like in rap, I feel like as like this kid thing. I don't think it has to be that.
Yeah.
And even like when we're like in high school, you think of when you're like 25 or whatever, like damn, you're old, you can't be creative anymore, you can't follow your passions. So I feel like we're getting back to that. Even to like middle-aged superstars. There was like I feel like somebody wrote an article on that too, but it was like that's what the world is missing. I guess in like the 90s and the 80s and stuff and like the early 2000s, like a lot of the stars were like middle-aged people. They weren't really like kid stars like that.
Yeah.
And also I feel like even just from a business standpoint, like I feel like in entertainment, a lot of people try to cater to kids, or at least used to. And now it's like they say the biggest generation, like the biggest age range in this generation is like 25 to 35-year-olds. So even from a business standpoint, if you cater to those people, you have the most amount of customers. So I think that's why we're seeing more like just content that's like a little more serious and just like for adults, not just like some kid shit.
Okay.
So you dropped this project. Are You Okay? I think your newest project is Ask Me Again in the Morning, right? Or your newest EP, that was 2022, I think. You want to touch on that, the making of that? I also love long titles like that, so that's fire.
Thank you. Ask Me Again in the Morning. I'm trying to think about where I was at in life at that time.
Or if we're skipping stuff, we can keep going in order after you drop.
Okay.
Are You Okay?
Okay, yeah. So after that, I dropped Move.
Singles, or like you dropped another?
I think I did. No, I did singles.
Okay.
So I think it was Move after that. Or honestly, it was a remix to one of my songs. So Marv P had actually hit me up and said he wanted to do a feature on it. So I did that. And with another artist that I know, I'm trying to think where he's from. I met him through another friend. I want to say he's from Jamaica. I don't know. But we had did a remix to that. So that was like my next anything with music after that. So like I said, it was well received. And I feel like, I don't know, at that time, like, okay, someone wants to hit me up, do a song. Okay, cool. So after that, I think I started performing. So like I performed like right after I dropped that. So I probably dropped that in like October, first performance in January. So it was kind of like, I'm just going with it now. So like, I guess, yeah, I'll do a performance
I make music now.
you know, like,
sure.
okay, like, I guess that's what I do. And it was kind of just like an experiment. Like I've never done that. So I really wanted to just like push myself to do that.
It was nerve-wracking, that first performance.
Oh my God, I was so scared.
Throat about dry as hell.
Oh, it's always dry, which is crazy. Like, I don't really know what that's about, but like I keep a water with me when I perform because I learned my lesson. Like in the beginning, I think like I would always end up having to like take the drink from the DJ. Like I need this drink right now. Like
his drink?
Yes. Yes. Every time. Every time that would happen, like somehow I ended up with somebody's drink and I had to waterfall that. Like I need something now. Like
that's a nerve thing. I know for me, I've performed a bunch of times. So it was just like, yeah, your mouth gets real dry. You might get a little shake. You might be a little, you feel me, antsy a little bit.
Honestly, I used to forget the words to my song right before I went on every single time. Like, I don't think I actually forgot, but I literally would sit there and just be like, yo, I don't know the words to these songs. Like, I would tell my friend, I'd be like, yo, I don't know. What are the words? Like, I'll have my phone up trying to listen to the song. Like, so
before you in the bathroom preparing before you go over there?
I've been in the bathroom doing that before. I've been in the bathroom doing that. But, like, I'll be wherever I got to go. I just need to listen to this, like, and then I get up there and it's fine. But, like, that used to really get me in the beginning. Now, not so much. Which is why I'm so glad that, like, every time I had a performance, it was really about, like, one, I mean, people are hitting me up to do it. I feel like I should do it because I guess I make music. So, like, yeah, why not perform? But really, it was about I wanted to be not scared of that. So, like, if this is an opportunity to do it, I would just say, like, I'm just going to say yes, usually to most of the...
Like, facing your fears and shit.
Yeah, like, it was kind of like that in the beginning. So, like, I feel like I definitely grew to like it. Like, it was always fun when I would do it. But I was scared for a while up until like probably like more recently, like at least in the past 2 years, maybe.
So you got invited to that. So it was like a showcase or somebody put something together.
Yeah, I think it was Raven, Baby Black Hearts.
Okay, yeah, we've had her up here.
Yeah, so she put together all girls showcase.
Was it called like something pussy?
Yeah, but I'm trying to think.
It was like a pink flyer.
Yeah.
I feel like I remember
Pussy
that
Power.
was not Pussy Power. That actually wasn't
Yeah.
that long ago. This was like 2 years ago. Then.
This was the first one that I think she ever did. So she invited me to that, and that was really dope. So like, ever since then, I've just been like,
she's been out here going. She's been doing shit out here for a while.
Yeah, she has. So that was dope. That was definitely a lot of love for her to just like, definitely just like pick up the "Are you okay?" Like that's when she kind of found out. Honestly, she wrote a blog post on me. So like my friend put me on to her and was like, you know, you should reach out to her and whatever. So she was definitely like very at like the first, I feel like, of my career, which is so crazy, which is actually cool when I think back about it.
So Black Hearts Club was the first person to ever write a blog post on you. Mm-hmm. You do this first show. So did you continue doing like open mics and different stuff to keep practicing your craft? I also seen back to your Substack, you were doing a fundraiser. Just raising money for your trip to LA, which was your first out of state performance. We can get to that. Like, how was that?
So, okay, you asked me about
like after that first show, did you start doing more like open mics and just start
so like
hone in more on
I've
it?
never done an open mic. So for me, like even performing at that point, it was more of like, I don't want to perform. I don't want to do that. I'm actually scared to do that. So for me, I'm also cool with just making music. Like I didn't think about like pursuing it in that way at first. So it's like I'm kind of just here because people really took to it, and this is what it's almost like they want from me in a certain kind of way. So it's like if people hit you up and it's like, oh, I want to do like an interview with you, like, okay, cool. Like, I guess, you know, I do this thing and you want to interview me, that's cool. Like, you know, but like I feel like it becomes part of like you stepping into that now. Because, like, you could just choose to make music and you don't have to do any of this stuff. Like, you could just make your music, post it, and I don't know, people. I mean, I feel like if people fuck with it, they always want more is the thing. So
I think for me, it's like the feeling of like you're doing it for real comes with the confidence in it, but that comes with just doing it more. Like, the more you do it, it's like your confidence grows more in it. And it's like, okay, yeah, like, yeah, this, you become like what you do every day. But yeah.
Yeah, so I didn't take it as, I feel like I wish I would have did more open mics, and I still want to do more of them now. But in my earlier time, I feel like I was more just like, I won't say like halfway doing it, but it's like, okay, I like it, but I still don't know how I feel about what I want to do with it for real, you know?
Did you feel like music was like modeling and photography for you in a way? Like how these things you picked up and put down, did you feel like it would be like that? Or did it feel different starting music than when you were doing those things?
It started the same. I love them all when I first picked them up. Like everything is like, I think of it like, yo, I love this and I want to do this all the time. And I keep that going. But then it's like, I feel like there's this moment where you kind of have to commit to something you're doing when you decide you like that. Like you said, keep doing it over and over after time. You're getting better every day because this is what you do. It's you. It's your lifestyle, basically. It's kind of like how, like, if I draw, like, I may not draw every day. So at that point, is that really, it's not like that's not what you do, but in my day to day, I'm not always doing that. So I feel like in a way, it's like something I do in pastime, or like something I like to do when I feel like doing that type time. So I feel like for me, that's really where it started. But because I dropped a project and I did a EP and I rolled it out and I got pressed and I did this whole thing, because for me, it's like, oh, well, if you're going to do it, then like, this is the way I've seen it done. So I'm going to try to emulate what I think is how you would successfully do that, right? But I wasn't thinking that I really wanted to step into music at that point. So like him even asking me like, so what do you want to do with it? I went as far as I said, okay, I'm going to at least do a project and do it the real way to see how I feel about it and like really do it. But not because I was like, yeah, it's go time. I want to do this. I love this. Like,
I'm about to blow up
yeah,
tomorrow.
nah, like I wasn't, it was like, it was cool, but like, I didn't know if I felt like that about it yet. Definitely the love and the reaction is what turned it into like, oh, like people really like this. And like for a while, like I said, I've been doing a lot of different things. I was even into YouTube at some point. So like I've always been trying to find my thing. Like what's my, I don't know, what do I like best, or what do I feel like is more things are, it's flowing a little bit differently of how this is like me stepping into it. And this was like the first thing I feel like from me putting out a lot of stuff from people who followed me before that people really gravitated towards. And I was like, okay, so like people.
Did that make you feel different about it because others were gravitating? You know what I'm saying? Like,
I feel like it could have affected it. Like I definitely liked it and I was having fun. So like that's how it always is for me in the beginning. So for me, it's good. If you like it, I love it. Like I'm having fun, you're liking it, it's cool. I'll keep it going. But I definitely think it was a huge motivator to, well, people are rooting for you in a certain kind of way, you know? So it's like, well, I almost feel like, well, if people want to see more, then like, why not stick with it and just see, you know? So like I said, I'm very like non-committal to my crafts in a certain kind of way, which is not good, but it's just the way I am. So I have to really tell myself like, this is what we're doing to do it, which music became that thing. Which I feel like I could have did that with any of the other things that I chose. I feel like I looked at it more like I had to have that love for it all the time to want to stick with it. And I feel like there's going to be times it's getting old, or it feels like I need to take a break from it, or I'm not as inspired by it, but you keep going type of thing, you know?
you see Kendrick been going for like 3-4 years now.
Yeah. So I feel like I could have, if I knew what I knew now, I could have been like, you know, just stick with it, write it out some more. But like for me, it was just kind of like, if I'm not feeling that, I take that as you must not want that, you know?
Okay, so what about this LA show? Did you ever end up making it out to LA?
Yeah. So I made it out to LA. That was cool too.
Also, what was the connection? Like, how'd you get out there?
I'm trying to think. It was called, what was it called? It was something I think it was like Black Girl Cookout, some kind of organization group. And I found them on Twitter because one of my friends in music had sent it to me, and they were putting together like this tour. So they go to like a bunch of different places, like New York, LA, Dallas, like a bunch of hot spots basically. And they put together these showcases where I believe it's predominantly Black women. And so it's a lot of underground artists in that sense. So I just went and applied to it just to see what would happen. And for a while, I had really been wanting to get out to LA to see if that was a space that I wanted to go to maybe try to like just do what I'm doing here, but there. So
you're thinking about moving there?
I've been considering it. Like I want to move somewhere is how I've been feeling. I don't know how I feel as of lately, but it's still something I'd like to do is like move somewhere else. So LA was always a place I had considered, but I've never been there. And so I was like, well, I'm going to try to get like the show slot for that place so that I can at least see what it's like if that's something I would want to do. So I ended up getting some time had passed. And I think honestly, I didn't get it. And she last minute was like, yo, do you want to take this spot? So I was like, okay. It felt like a sign to me at that time that, okay, let's get you out in LA and see how do people gravitate to your music out there, or like, what kind of connections I can make out there, who can I meet, that type of just what is that world for me in LA, if that would open up something for me musically. So I went out there. It was cool. I wasn't out there that long, but I feel like LA and me, like, I think there's definitely more to do, but I don't know if I would move out there.
It's like too much to do. I heard it's like you can't even stay focused. It's too much to do.
I feel like I would have to be there for a while to really feel like that about it. It's cool that there's a lot to do, but like it is pretty like chaotic. It's very fast paced in a certain way. I mean, it's definitely like New York, I feel like, but just a different vibe. Like I definitely really love New York. Like New York and me, we go together a little bit more than LA. So like,
how long were you out there in LA? And I guess what was your favorite part about LA?
Favorite part about LA is definitely the views. Like that's whatever they say about, like when they say how it's just beautiful out there, like just the warm weather, the views, the sunsets, the palm trees, like the architecture. I just love the way it just looks out there. And I had some really good tacos out there.
Right, street tacos?
Yeah.
And a food truck?
Yeah. They were pretty good.
Also, I'm pretty sure this is true. I think I've heard that like all the palm trees in LA are like planted, like they don't naturally grow there.
I haven't heard that, but I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
I would not be surprised.
So what year did you go out there?
Last year.
So this was last year?
Yeah. So yeah, that was cool. Came back. I was only out there for like 4 days though. So I didn't really get, like I got there probably the night before I actually had to perform the next day. So I performed, I went out or something that night.
How do you think the performance went?
I think it was good. Like, I think I did a good job. I just don't think it was the crowd for me in a certain way. So I feel like the crowd was cool. Like, they were cool, but it just wasn't what I had expected, or it wasn't like being back home if I was performing, or, you know, somewhere on just even the East Coast. Like, which honestly, I performed in Richmond, I believe. Yeah, I did. I performed in Richmond, but I've only performed like over in the 7-5. So it's like I've never performed out of.
We definitely have a different crowd than.
Yeah.
What kind of music did some of the other artists on that lineup? Were they doing?
Some were like R&B, some were rappers. So it was definitely a mix. I believe it was all girls as well. But yeah, some singers, but mainly rappers.
Are you still in touch with the people? You said Black Girls. What was it called?
I think it's like Black Girl Cookout.
Cookout, yeah.
Yeah. No, I haven't. After that, I mean, for me, I feel like, you know, the connection's cool or whatever, but it just wasn't something that I felt like fit what I'm looking for. Like, I think what they're doing is dope, but I don't think that's my crowd for like who I'm trying to speak to. Like, who do I gel with type thing, you know? So it was kind of more of like a bust for me. I was really disappointed after it.
I get it. Maybe it was also a sign. I'm not gonna say a sign for you, but like I've been to LA like 3 or 4 times, and what I realized is that I don't need to be there.
Yeah.
That I think honestly, I think it'd be a lot cooler to start a scene here and be like a pivotal force in our scene. I'll feel much more proud about that than I'm just going and like doing it with other people like in a different scene. So that's kind of where I put my energy towards. I don't know.
It's crazy. Like after that, like I said, I've been wanting to move around a lot. And so I felt like every time I would take a trip or like go out of town and I come back, I found myself like in conversations with different people where they were pretty much like saying what you were just saying. Like if you like, you're supposed to like if you can't make it where you're at first before you're trying to jump into these other spots, like you didn't really complete that level type time. And even just on like when you go there, you're competing in this big pond of everybody trying to do the same thing, and everybody's really good. Like everybody out here is talented. There's a lot of resources out here. So I get why you would go there because of those reasons, but it's so loud. It's so much noise where you can really stand out here, you know? So I've definitely been hearing a lot of people like just share different perspectives where it's definitely been opening my eyes about it. So I will say like right now I've kind of been in like, okay, it's cool being here, but I definitely like to travel. So like I definitely like to be getting out of VA at some point. Like I like to definitely change my scenery up at some point. So how that's going to look, I don't know if I'm going to live somewhere else at some point, but I have felt more of like that. Like, I don't know, I really like being here right now. And I feel like things have been changing, which is really cool. Like, it feels like now there's more opportunity.
We're like creating the opportunity ourselves.
You
I
know?
feel like.
That's honestly what we have to do out here.
I think I believe it, honestly. It might be naive in some way, but I really do believe that we have the talent here, and I think we could do like cool shit to where like literally artists from other areas would want to come here. And I've heard stories like that already. Like Karina, we did an episode with this girl named Karina. She's a painter. I don't know if you know what that is, but she had her friend moved from Brooklyn to Virginia to pursue art. Now she's a painter. She's not doing music, but that was the first person I've heard that literally moved from New York to Virginia to chase their art dream. So I was like, okay, I can see that happening on a bigger scale. So you're touching a little bit on traveling, moving, going to LA. Ask Me Again in the Morning. That's your newest EP. Do you want to reflect on that? I know that was in 2022. How do you feel about that right now? Also, that song the song with you and Mimi Suki up there, SITS. What does that stand for?
Sad in the Summer.
Okay, I really fuck with that. I feel like y'all should do a music video for that. Also, do you have any music videos? I was looking for them. I couldn't find any of your music videos.
Really?
Yeah.
I have a couple.
Send those to me, please.
Okay. You asked me.
Just looking back on Ask Me Again in the Morning, like almost 2 years later, I guess. How you feel about that project?
I feel like that was really good too. So like I said, I feel like music has been this like different experience for me. Like it's really just like, I feel like it's teaching me so, like I feel like me pursuing it is a part of me kind of like, I don't know, working a certain muscle in a certain kind of way. So like each time I do it, I want to top that and also like push the commitment in a certain kind of way. Like, okay, so like what else can you do with it? What can you turn this into, or what can you like make with this? So like that project, I took a lot of just what I learned and what I picked up on from the last project, how people perceived it. Even just the doing it that way was already my like foundation. So like that's now how I approach it. I just try to put a different spin on it, you know, push myself a little bit more each time. So that one, I feel like I really got more intentional with the music. So that was me working with a lot of different producers. 5 different producers. I think that's how I had it, where there was each song was produced by somebody else. And I really wanted to like curate a sound. So like really sit in with them and like make the beat for me, write it. A lot of post-production is going on in the process of it. So like as we're making it, like coming up with different ways to tweak it, like really trying to make a good song is what my goal was at that point. So like I really got more into like, you know, harmonizing and like really understanding the structure of like a good song and how to write better and stuff like that. So that was me pushing myself in that way. And like, how can I market this cooler? How can I get more people to look at this and, you know, see what I'm doing? So I feel like that one was received really well. I feel like I was able to create the vision of what I was going for. Do you feel like you got the vibe of what the tape, did it feel cohesive to you?
I think, yeah. I want to say, yeah.
Okay, so like what did it make you feel like you were at? Like
where I was at?
Or just like what did you feel from listening to that?
I don't know. I only listened to it one time through. I listened to the song with you and Mimi Suki a few times.
Okay.
I don't know if I can even explain how it made me feel. I don't know. I thought it was cool though.
Okay.
Especially like what really sets you apart in my mind now is really your Substack, because I'm looking deeper into your thoughts. You're like explaining further, so that kind of plays a role in when I hear your music now too. Like, I don't know.
Do you feel like you think that way first and then listen to it?
Well, wait. What do you mean by that?
Like, I don't know. So like, if you hear someone's like, okay, so and so is about to put something out, do you feel like you're already like, what is your like mind?
I think it's really just, I feel like I have a deeper connection with you because I've seen deeper of your thoughts than just surface level. It's just like it's just like what a stunt is for people. It's like an artist will have a rollout for their album, and then, or like Kanye, he might say something outlandish. Now when you're listening to his new album, that's in your mind kind of subconsciously, like you, even though it's just like some random whatever thing, it's like the music is accompanied by other thoughts and like deeper things than just the music. So that's kind of just like, I feel like merged in your brain in like a weird way.
Okay.
If that even makes sense. I don't know.
I got it.
Where I was going with that. Something like that though.
I got that. I like that. I feel like that's what it is for me, I guess, because I like to consider that as I'm making the project, or at least that's how I did with Ask Me Again in the Morning. Like I try to think about how do I want to express this, or like what do I want to talk about, like set a scene, like I chose the summer, like I wanted to really try to approach a project in another way that you could approach something. Instead of like the first one, it was really just different beats I liked. And
It was YouTube beats on the first one, right?
yeah, so like
Okay.
some SoundCloud like producer like type beats.
Then you got all original music on.
Yeah,
on the
so
next
this one was all
Yeah.
original. So I never worked with like actual producers making anything with me type time at that point. So that was really fun. It took a long time to make it. So it also taught me like patience in that, and really just like crafting something and making it well, in this sense, like really giving it, I almost like a fair chance, but like really like crafting this in a certain way, instead of like how sometimes it could be more freestyle. Then we're not really getting that like nitpicky into what makes it a good song. So that was cool to learn from that standpoint through that process, and work with a lot of other people, do more collabs. So yeah, it was cool. And that was like one of my first music videos. It wasn't my first music video, but my first like real music video, where I had like an actual like cinematographer come in and actually like film something. Like I'd always done like, my friend like get their video camera.
Who did it? Who did that one?
I think it was Sergio.
Oh, he's fire. He has a fucking.
Yeah,
he's the
yeah.
one that he does Boris's videos. I think Boris
Yeah,
Lucid.
yeah.
He has like one of them like
Boris's
fucking
videos are
$10,000
always
cameras.
so fire.
Bro, Boris is.
Oh
You
my
seen the video when he
God.
like fell in the pool? I forgot which video it was, but he like falls. He's like standing and falls in the pool, but the camera's like with him.
Oh, so
and
then it does
it's
like that little
crazy.
flip thing.
Yeah, it's just like no, he just goes into the pool. And the camera also goes
into the
so you're
pool.
just
Okay,
following
that's
him down.
crazy.
Yeah, it looks pretty
No,
wild.
his
Yeah.
videos are crazy. I love his videos. So yeah, Sergio has shot that. So that was really cool too. So like it was cool just kind of like, I don't know, like getting more into being a music artist is how I guess I identify that. I don't know if you're like making it a
I think that-
career or you're building it. I don't know.
I think that's the most like authentic version of it, because you have people that just kind of see it and then like kind of try to emulate somebody else or just do it like how they think it should be done, and then just like maybe even have this naive confidence or ego about it. But I think it's more like authentic and pure. You're just kind of like trying it out, and you're like almost talking yourself into it, and you're just kind of expressing yourself, and you're like falling into it. It's not like a fake thing. As it grows, it just like grows within you, kind of like. So you're talking about the newest project. Did you want to touch on anything else?
As far as what?
Anything else you want to touch on? What do you got coming up next? I know you got the pull-up challenge right now. We kind of touched on that a little bit. So it's like cards you can buy for somebody you find special.
Yeah. So like, I mean, just like how you pull up in general, like the sweet nothing is for it to be like, it's not, like sweet nothings aren't like that deep. Like it's kind of just like something nice to hear,
Wait, what do you mean by sweet nothing? Is that like a...
Yeah, like the actual phrase sweet nothing.
What does that mean? I never heard that.
So like, I don't want to say this
I thought you
wrong.
had just made that phrase up.
No. Like
okay.
it's actually a thing. I don't want to say it's like compliments, but I don't want to say it wrong. But like sweet nothings are like, they're just like
You looking at the definition of it?
yes.
What'd it say?
They're
What'd
just
it
like
say?
flattering things. They're just nice, loving, flattering things, right? So like they're lighthearted.
Like you say something to somebody you're like attracted to.
Yeah, like someone you're in a relationship with, but it's just
Okay.
like sweet things to say. And I'm trying to think of examples. Like I feel like even calling someone babe or something like that is a version of a sweet nothing. But like it's more just like your eyes or like I don't know, stuff like that. But I like the sweet nothing to try to like make it a little more chill. Like so I also went blue.
Back to no commitment.
Yeah,
like
I
nothing.
clearly have issues. Like, no, I mean, I'm aware that I'm like this. So yeah, it's definitely a part of that. But at the same time, I feel like it's still a step forward. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're still working on it. So it's like, I wanted to make it more chill though, because I told you, like, I feel like a lot of people are also afraid of that rejection, or like some people, it's like, I feel like they're just not as open in a certain kind of way, where it's just like it doesn't have to be that deep, even if someone's just saying like, yo, I find you interesting. Like I feel like that would help people even just get into dating more, like finding someone that they thought was cool, and then just, okay, maybe it did turn to something, maybe it didn't, but everyone's so like you gotta be like this or that. Like it feels like it's such a real like suit, and I don't know, it feels so like strict and like just not like organic in a certain kind of way where like nothing, like it should be natural to flow, to share that you have attraction to people, or just I don't know, it should be pretty regular, where I feel like it's not for most people, or at least that's why I feel like people aren't dating. But that might really come back to communication. I don't know if anyone's even talking to each other
in a world we're more connected than ever, but further apart than ever as well.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. I appreciate you. Also, so pull up the song.
Yeah.
The challenges for the song, which drops also on Valentine's Day, right? Or was that out already?
Pull Up is already out.
Okay.
So it was more so inspired by Pull Up.
Okay.
So in that song, it was pretty much just like saying you should just pull up. That was my message in that song. So like the cards are kind of just like something separate that I made, but I was able to tie the two. So then that's where I came up with the pull up challenge to try to make it fun. I don't know if people are feeling like, I still want to pull up. I told you on Instagram,
I thought it was a fucking actual pull up challenge.
Okay, so that's the one that you would have been ready to like.
I mean, I would have busted like 5 or 6, maybe a couple of, nothing too crazy.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Pull Up out now. Ask Me Again in the Morning out now. I know you dropped a few singles last year. I think your newest one was Sunday's Remedy. Is there anything else you want to touch on?
Not really.
Hell yeah. Well, I appreciate you for coming through.
Yep. Thanks for having me.
Already. We appreciate you guys for tuning in. Shout out to our sponsor for this episode, Zacil Media. They're a multidisciplinary creative studio you can get with in Virginia Beach. Mention us, you get 10% off. You can find that in the description. Check out Kay's music. We'll also put her Substack in the fucking description. Check that out. Hell yeah. We'll see y'all soon. Peace.
Bye.